the same problem you had. The moment that I looked away at that. Hello there, Brick Fanatics. I am here at the McLaren headquarters for a special event where apparently McLaren and the LEGO Group are going to be showing off a brand new secret thing, which will be revealed very soon. But if you've seen the thumbnail of this video, you will be entirely aware of what it is already. Either way, this seems like it's going to be a particularly fun day because I get the fun of being in a fancy car. At some point, I think they're going to feed us, which will be very nice. And apparently, I'm going to be going on a tour of the McLaren factory and learning a little bit more about the process behind which the new LEGO set was designed in collaboration with McLaren and how that partnership went about. So hopefully, this video should be very informative if you are a fan of LEGO Technic cars in particular, and if you're not a particular fan of that, then you can just watch me having a really good time. Apologies to those who are thinking, when are they going to get to the fireworks factory and actually talk about the LEGO set itself, but I do feel like some context is important here. On a gorgeously sunny day in the last week of June, Brick Fanatics had the opportunity to attend a particularly special reveal event for LEGO Technic McLaren P1 at the home of the iconic car itself, the McLaren factory in Woking, Surrey. If you have ever wondered what an extremely high-end custom car factory actually looks like on the inside, our tour guide summed it up rather well when he described the building as a little bit James Bond and 90% NASA, 10% Disney. The entrance is decked out with enormous glass windows that provide a spectacular view, which unfortunately turn the entire side of the building into a massive greenhouse. If, for example, an event happens to take place in the evening on a particularly sunny day, it becomes tremendously difficult to film or photograph any exciting new LEGO sets that happen to be on display. I'm not the only one complaining about that. At least one member of the LEGO Group's marketing team was stood waiting anxiously for the sun to move below the horizon in the hopes that this would provide slightly better lighting. I'm not gonna lie, it is hard not to feel like I've wandered into somewhere that I absolutely should not be, because I'm in a very, very fancy place and I'm not a very, very fancy person. So I feel just a little bit like at some point someone's going to grab me and be like, "Oh, what are you doing here?" Fingers crossed I can avoid that, because apparently they are, everybody here is very nice. It's just inherent, I guess, imposter syndrome within myself that makes me feel like I absolutely should not be here. While McLaren may have been hosting the event, it was clear that the LEGO Group was taking charge on discussions around the car. After a brief introduction from McLaren's Chief Design Officer Tobias Sulman, LEGO Technic's Senior Model Designer Aurélien Roufiange took centre stage, giving a detailed look at the new set and talking a little bit about the design process that led to its creation. From my hands-on experience with the set, hefting it, trying out its moving parts, comparing it to the real McLaren P1, and even building a little part of the set myself, I have to say the LEGO Technic designers have yet again delivered a large, impressive set here. Anyone who's a fan of the other Technic supercars at this scale will be very happy with the new offering. I do think that the McLaren P1 was an ambitious car to adapt into LEGO Technic form, simply because it's quite a curvaceous supercar, and if there's one thing that LEGO struggles with, it's curves. Putting the real P1 on display next to the Technic set certainly showed how accurate the set is in some places, but it also highlighted how some areas of the set, particularly around the bonnet, are the best that could be achieved with the Technic parts library, but still aren't quite right nonetheless. It's the kind of quibble that some will dismiss outright, but for others it's crucially important. After all, if you're picking this set up instead of any other of the supercars in the LEGO Technic library, chances are you're a fan of McLaren in particular, and so fidelity to the source material is important. The colour is a nice choice though, it has to be said. From this footage, it's not easy to tell which shade of yellow has been used here, but it's the flame yellow colour that's a little bit warmer than minifigure skin tone, but not all the way to full orange. In a collection of sets that are all about the vibrant colours, this will be a nice addition for anyone who's displaying the whole lot on a shelf together. McLaren's tour guide is, it must be said, a cut above the vast majority of tour guides. Again, the LEGO Group could learn a lesson in presentation and theatricality here. The guide relished a few of the more spectacular moments of the tour as he described the building as 90% NASA, 10% Disney. His glee at popping open secret doors and ushering us into spaces that were a little bit James Bond was palpable. While the LEGO Group is careful to archive each and every LEGO set inside its vault, the company could learn a thing or two about historical preservation from McLaren. At least one lengthy hallway was filled with a long queue of retired Formula One cars, each of which are, we were assured, still in perfect working order. In theory, any of these cars could be plucked from the lineup and driven around, should the need arise. Unfortunately, the most interesting places on the tour, the James Bond room, filled to the brim with iconic cars, and the factory floor itself, were strict no camera zones, so a description will have to suffice. McLaren's factory looks like what would happen if Willy Wonka binge-watched every episode of Top Gear. There are gizmos and doodads on every available surface, vast machines which test cars against humidity and adverse weather effects, giant fans blowing air across car bonnets to test for aerodynamism, and an enthusiastic team of Oompa Loompas who assemble each car entirely by hand. While there are plenty of incredibly interesting contraptions on the factory floor, there are no robots, no large automation machines. McLaren has taken the bold decision to provide the human touch, going a long way to justify the car's high price tags, and deliberately limiting the number of these vehicles that hit the market. Apparently, in the early days of the brand's supercar ventures, McLaren were tremendously careful not just about what they sold, but about who they sold to. Certain nameless celebrities were banned from purchasing any of these cars. If you had a reputation for wrapping sports cars around lampposts, then McLaren did not want your custom. Nobody wanted the brand to become associated with dangerous driving or horrible accidents. If you go to McLaren for a car, you're able to customize it to an impressive degree, picking your colour and specific parts. You cannot, according to the tour guide, have a novelty-themed car. One regular customer was disappointed when they asked for a Minions-themed McLaren, and they were politely refused. After the factory tour, there was a brief pause for canapes, giving the entire event the feeling of a wedding, perhaps appropriate for the latest marriage between the LEGO Group and McLaren, before the LEGO fan media got a chance to try building part of the new set, while the car enthusiasts were given their tour. With that, the event was over, and the entire guest list, LEGO and car fans alike, piled into a minivan and were driven back to the front gate. There, the car guys stood around for a while admiring each other's incredibly fancy sports cars, while I instead sheepishly hopped into my dad's Vauxhall Corsa. For those who will never actually own a McLaren supercar, the new LEGO Technic set seems to be a decent alternative. Apart from anything else, its vibrant yellow colour scheme seems perfect should you wish to customise it with some Minions elements. Well, this has been an absolutely spectacular day here at the McLaren headquarters with the LEGO Group. We have seen an absolutely fantastic new supercar made out of LEGO Technic. It has been a delight. I think some of the highlights of the day have been being able to go and see that factory tour and being able to get hands-on and building a little bit of the set. Just as a kind of initial review of the experience that I had, it is a meaty and a delicious and a thick and chunky building experience that you would expect from a Technic set of this size. Make sure, by the way, that if you're going to be purchasing any LEGO Technic or indeed any LEGO set in the near future, that you use the affiliate link, which is currently on screen, or the affiliate link, which is currently in the description, and the QR code, which is currently on screen, which will just take you straight to the LEGO website and allow you to make that purchase. Make sure that you also do all of the regular YouTube things. Give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe and the notification bell. Make sure that you go to brickfanatics.com for all of your LEGO news and reviews, and make sure that you sign up to our newsletter so that you never miss anything LEGO related ever again. And if it seems like I might be just a little bit tired at the moment, I'm a little bit tired at the moment. Thank you for watching.